Okay, so I have the windshield wiper transmission on the bench, and I'm gonna start taking it apart. Snapped a few pics to kind of remind myself of where things go. The only markings so far that I've seen are the C5 and B9. So then we have this clamp here. That clamp, and we have this. It's almost like a copper. What can we call this? Liner or whatever. Secondary clamp. I don't know what these things are called. And then that allows you to separate the center piece from the other arm. And in turn, this one has another copper piece. And that is that so far. So then we have this arm separated, and then we can remove the pieces from the other side. And you have this portion here, this odd shape. This is for the bottom portion, and then you have the clamp. And then there's another one here. Pretty sure this is copper. And then we have the little arm with the ball rotating assembly. This is the one that makes the wipers work. Sneak at least one of these in here. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Put this one in here as well. That is better, I think. Good. And these are, I am going to clean separately. I am, just to make my life easier, I'm going to keep the washer hoses in place. This one has a broken piece now because these things get so brittle. Anyway, it was broken already. For an example, here's the other one. This one is still okay. And I'm going to see if I can find a replacement part so I can have them both at least complete. Anyway, like I always say, restoration is great, but usually is one messy job. Luckily, the parts cleaner does a pretty decent job. I also just realized, I don't think I mentioned this before, I just saw this imprinted LH left hand. So this is the one that says B9 on this arm here. Can you read that? So LH, that's the driver's side, and the passenger side it says RH for right hand, and that corresponds with the C5 lever, whatever this is called. I'm going to go ahead and sand a little bit just to smooth out these transitions here from bare metal to paint. And by the way, I just switched from 320 to 180. Just trying to get rid of as much of this stuff as possible. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna turn the camera off for a while, do this, and I still have to do the other one. I mean, this is a lot of parts, but I understand that this is, for you guys, is as much fun as slow dancing with grandma. So I'll be back. Okay, so I have this part ready, and I masked all the way up to here because that's all I need. And I am going to spray this piece next, and I still have to do the same thing for the other arm. So, getting a little bit of progress. Okay, so I started reassembling the windshield wiper transmission, and I'm in the process of installing the pivot plates. Those are the copper ones that you see in there. I put a little bit of grease. I also reinstalled the rotating arm for the motor, and I have these very loosely attached here. So what you want to do is push this one all the way in to that pivoting point, and the passenger side, same deal, is loosely put together. And you just want to fit it on that on the arm. At that point, these can be tightened, and that would be complete there. Of course, there are some adjustments, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to just set it kind of neutral for now because I want to test it once this is all put back together. And after that is done, I am probably going to reattach the blade arms and the new blades themselves. So these, by the way, they are keyed, so the wiper arms only go in one position. So when the wiper arms are ready to be reinstalled, and I have to figure out which is which here, but anyway, they're keyed to the splined ends here of the bases. So that is, I'll figure it out. One thing you want to have is a soft microfiber towel. You don't want to scratch thing, and I also recommend at this point getting, of course, new wiper blades. I'm using the Tricos 16-1, and here's the UPC if you want to double check. I'll provide a link to the ones I bought from Amazon. And these are the low profile blades, because otherwise, if you use just whatever you find off the shelf, they'll most likely hit the lip of the hood. So anyway, I'm going to install the arms next and the blades. Okay, so after checking the factory assembly manual, this is the passenger wiper arm, and this one is the driver's side. Now, these blades are pretty much universal, as you can see by looking at the instructions. You have this hook style, just lights in there and it locks in place. Then you have the one that the Corvette uses, and then you have another one that is a straight in fit. So we're going to, of course, focus on this one. And it is actually very, very simple. You have this piece here, and it can be taken off. It's just a pressure fit. And this has a little locking mechanism which secures the blade in place. And all you want to do, this of course would be when you're replacing them, you want to make sure that that is lined up like that. And then this pin goes through here, and you hear it click, and it locks it in place. To release is fairly simple. You have this little tab here that you push. This, you have to be very gentle. These things are all plastic. And then with a small screwdriver, I lift the other part of the locking mechanism, and it just falls right off. And yes, this one is missing the little sprayer here. I have it, but it's in pieces. So eventually I'm going to try to find one just to have the assembly complete. All right. And this one, of course, is going to be difficult. As you can see, it's going over the A-pillar. So as you can see now, it's about an inch away from the A-pillar molding, which is what the book recommends. Anyway, between an eighth and an inch. So we're totally cool there. And all I did is loosen this portion of the arm adjustment and moved it until I got it to rest in this position. So I'm going to run a cycle, see what happens. Okay, so I have them adjusted pretty much where I think they should be. This one could use maybe a little more adjustment, but I think it's going to be okay. And I have to test everything with the hood closed to make sure that they're not visible. But let's run a cycle, see what happens. And I think they're working pretty well. Maybe this one is going a little bit too far. So you can see there was indications of that happening before. So maybe I can adjust that a little bit. This side also could use maybe a touch of an adjustment. Here you can see how they're parked. So we'll move them a little bit. And all I do is I try to adjust this portion here. That's all the adjustment there is, really. Okay, so this is the park position, and I think I got them as close to perfect as I can. And I'll show you in a second, the driver's side now gets up to here, doesn't touch. Same thing for that side, but I'll double check everything. So let me close the hood, see how this looks, and then I'll do a test. So that is looking good. There's no interference there that I can feel or see. Same thing here with my 76, although these are a touch different. These blades that I have are a little shorter actually. But anyway, this so far is looking good. And I'll run a cycle and see what it looks like.